All right, so here we are, part 2, the update of the RZR Samurai build. We'll do a quick walk around, and then we'll go over how I mounted it, what's left to do, what's been done. And this will probably be the last video till it's completed. So it's fully mounted on now. It's one unit. We still have to put the rockers on, and then we'll attach the rockers to the bottom of the frame, and then the rockers will kind of take up that gap so you won't see that distance from the bottom of the rocker to the frame. It's not this high right now, it's on the lift. I just don't want to drop it all the way because then the legs are going to move, but it does have a great stance. We'll start here in the front. We got the bumper made up. I ended up putting 2 spacers in there for a total of 1.5 inches to that mount. We got the turn signals in there, and then I also drilled out these here and put those same LED turn signals. The street legal kit I got is the MCS, I believe. Pretty good quality kit, and you could do a lot of options. After talking to the guy, I probably should have done a different harness for the back, but I made it work. You see how much space you have between the radiator and the radiator support. I still got to fill those gaps and these gaps. I'm thinking about just 3D printing a cap. Kind of ran out of metal to be able to weld the cap on there. We're gonna have to close this area up, and then close with a piece of ABS the top of the dash there, and then same thing, close up this area. That way we don't have mud slinging everywhere. Try to make it look a little better. We have to mount our washer tank either on this side or this side. I left a little jack thing because, like I said, I think it'll be pretty cool. Got to clean up all the wiring harness. The big white one is going to be what's feeding the Polaris pulse bar. We still have to put our amp, which is right there, a Bluetooth Kenwood amp. I've used them a couple times. I really like them. We're going to have 2 8-inch Scar Audio marine speakers, which is probably going to sound pretty good. Here is the wiring harness for the street legal kit. Then we have the wiring harness for the power mad for the reverse lights. It's a decent little kit, but definitely not as quality as the street legal kit. This is just the wiring harness for the turn signals. It comes pre-wired for 3 on each side. I'm just going to be running the 2, the one in the front and the one on the side. I bought LED headlights, which we'll be swapping out also. I painted all the inside black just because it was kind of all dingy looking. I might paint from that down black also just to help it look a little better. Those are the rockers we're going to be putting on. They're set off a Jeep. We're going to be cutting that point off, and it should go on there pretty good, and for 130 bucks you can't beat it. All the flares are still going to go on. I'll show you one thing you're going to have to do if you're running this Razor on the Samurai. The filler neck, the gas cap, you were able to unscrew it about halfway, but it wouldn't come out. So I had a piece of 4-inch exhaust pipe left over from one of my truck builds, and I cut that out and then did it. Now the gas cap comes off perfect. You can see a little bit of the gap here we got, but it's still really tight when you're putting it on. We're going to see if we fill that all in, just so we stay a little cleaner on the inside. And what hits everything and why you got to spread the body just a hair to get it on is these horns here for the factory roll cage. That's what hits down there. So you just got to put a 2x4 on the factory roll bar and just spread it open about a 1/2 inch. You see all the plastics all fit pretty good. Show you what it looks like from the back. Added the General or Turbo S cluster. I had it mounted in the factory location. I did not cut enough off the firewall, so I had to take it back off, and it doesn't look like it's going to look right there anyway, so I might have to extend that harness a little bit and mount it into the Suzuki dash. This week we'll be working on getting that wiper motor working, getting the Suzuki dash in. I don't know if I'm going to be keeping this glove box or keeping the Suzuki glove box. I ran the reverse wires and the wiring harness for the street legal kit through the tunnel, and then the power harness to feed the pulse bar is going on the outside of all the plastics. And I also pre-ran the speaker wire between there and tie wrapped everything real nice before I mounted the bodies, just something to make it a little bit easier. And that's pretty much it. I also painted this black just because I had to paint here, and this border here was worn out just from getting in and out over all the years. Another thing, if you want to add a back seat eventually, get it now, because you're probably going to have to add some brackets, and the last thing you want is to build everything and then have to take everything back apart, start grinding and sanding down and welding again on stuff you just painted. So I'll show you what we got going on here. Here's a seat we got. It's a B-stop. Pretty good little seat for 200 bucks. These are the brackets for it. I cut them down a little bit, and instead of the bolts, I got these pins with the quick connect, so it's easier to take off. You just unlatch it from there, take it off. And if you ever had to, for whatever reason, open this cover, all you gotta do is unlatch it, and then the seat will come forward, and you'll see how that looks like in the finished video. You see I had to add this bar here. I had to add this bar here to support the latch, and that's where the seat belt, where the center piece is going to go, so I have to tap this and thread it for the seat belts in the middle, which is going to be a pain in the ass because that gap is pretty tight. So taking the seat belts in and out of there is going to be a little bit of a mission. This bar is what's supporting the body on the back of here, and that's going up the roll bar, and that's what's keeping the back of the body from jiggling. We also had to add this bar to support the seats here, so that's another bar. This bar is welded. This bar is removable just in case you ever had to pull the motor. That bar could come out, so don't weld this bar. This bar is also removable. This one's welded in. It's past the body. All from about here this way is all an extension. And you can see I put a piece of 1 1/4 inch pipe inside the frame about 6 inches, and those screws are also running through it. And then on the bottom I had the 1 inch to 2 inch receiver adapter, and then from Harbor Freight they sell this extender with a step, and then that's what I welded the back extension with. That's where the back body mounts are here to the factory locations. I also added one in the middle to make it a little bit more sturdy, and then now this is a pretty good flat area here to be able to mount a piece of ABS plastic to keep the mud and stuff from slinging up. And then we're also going to be putting a floor in here and probably some kind of consoles on the side to hold the speakers, or some kind of toolboxes. I'm not sure yet. You can see the back bumper. I took the spare tire off. I wanted to put one. I thought it looked good, but it's just the added weight. We're already adding a ton of weight to this, so I don't think that's a good idea to add anymore. So we're going to clean this up a little bit, buff it, and then this is where the tag is going to go. All this still works perfect. Here's your center mount, and this is the wiring that we gotta make look good. That's for the tag light, and then that's for the OP7 tailgate light bar, which is what our backlight's gonna be, which is right here. It's brake, reverse, turn signal, everything all in one. So that's gonna be pretty cool, and that is gonna be going in the gap right there. So it's gonna be a nice clean look. What else we got here? On the driver's side, it's pretty basic. I'll just show you the dash, hit here to here, and it's too far in, and that's with the steering all the way down. So I'm gonna have to figure a way to mount this a little higher, but the wiring harness isn't letting it work. But it is 100% plug and play. I plugged it in. Your hours are there, but your odometer is not. So that's kind of sucky, but it's not bad. But we are definitely getting there. Got to take the door panels off. We're just gonna make black ABS plastic ones. Rocking this paint just like this after we buff it. I love the look. Another thing I had to add was on this back bar, I made it go all the way across, because this back here, once you take the floor out, was super flimsy. So I added a screw here to hold it in. And then on the other side, I cut the filler off, which has 4 tack welds you can remove and take out that whole piece. And I got this piece, was like 20 bucks for some Jeep. Took out the fake screws, put real screws in. Then the bottom screw is going to that brace. And then the rest of them are just tightening to the body. So that came out pretty good. I fixed my boo-boo there from when I cut in the inside out. Fix that with some JB weld. And other than that, it's just time to get the wheels on, buff it. Finally got the wheels in, and they sent me the wrong wheels. They sent me 14s instead of 15s, and it sucks because they look great. And those are the tires there. So next video will hopefully be some running videos. It completed, probably buffed. I'll probably wait a little bit to fix the hood. I got like 2 or 3 small rust spots here I gotta take care of. But I want to preserve the original paint as much as possible. So I got to see, once I buff it out, how close we can match this color. Or do a matte black hood or something. I'm not entirely sure that's going to look great. I wouldn't mind doing the center of the hood matte black and leaving these red. But I do have these 2 pieces here that are on the red part. But maybe that'll look better just having these touched up and the center black. So I don't know what I should do there. If you got any suggestions, drop a comment. Would you paint the whole hood black or leave it as is? But that is pretty much it for this video. Next video, we'll be out ripping it. And hopefully this inspires somebody else to build one of these, because all I needed was a little bit of video from somebody else to do this. And man, I've never been so excited about a project than this thing before. And I've built some pretty cool stuff. And just the fast satisfaction you get with this. This is maybe 15, 20 hours of work maybe to get to here. And everything you're using is off the razor. So the only thing you have to really wire is just the lights, and that's it. Whatever accessories you want to add. Might add a winch later, how we do have a ton of clearance up here. And another super important thing. You need that Thunderhawk bracket. Without that, you grab the bumper and it just super flimsy. Ever since they went to this like stamped steel thing here, zero support. This bracket, it is super rigid. I was going to weld some other tubes here to here, but I wanted everything to be removable. So I didn't want to do that. And with that bracket, 70 bucks. It's a little bit expensive for what it is, but it works and it takes all the guesswork out. We also have the 4 cedar springs in there that are silver to get rid of these ugly ass yellow ones and to help with the added weight. So that'd be another thing we have to do, but we are getting there. I might take this thing for a test drive tomorrow just because I'm that excited, but stay tuned and we'll see what happens out of this. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned in the next video.